living my dream.
Good morning, everybody. Well, you're on the Inside Show. Thank you for tuning in this morning. You on a Thursday with Let's Talk with Joan. Yay. Let's go, guys. Today we have a very interesting topic, and I'm so excited for this topic because I know that a lot of people in the time that we are faced with the pandemic, we are faced with at the moment across the world, are very anxious. A lot of people are stressed out. Some of us don't even know what the future holds, and sometimes it really overwhelms us and we don't know what direction to take. Well, I have news for you. There are some things that you can do to get your mental health going. So yeah, man, I have someone very important in the studio, and come on, beloveds, if you did not subscribe yet, come on, man. Don't delay. It is now time to subscribe so you can know the many and the very important issues that we actually share on the Inside Show. So hit that bell and get the notifications and tune in, and you will see what is happening on the Inside Show. And so, yay, I'm sure you have your mirror with you. If you don't, and you are the first-time viewer, on a Thursday, we look into the mirror. This is a mirror that can speak to you on a daily basis. And I know some of you girlfriends don't even sometimes want to look into the mirror because you feel depressed and you feel so down and out, and especially in today's life. But hey, girlfriend, it's time to talk to the girl that's looking back at you. Come on now. Who's reflecting back at you? So yes, this morning I have a very important guest with me, and I'm going to ask her just to introduce herself before we go into the mirror. So I would like my guest to introduce herself. Tell us a little about you.
Hi, I'm Taryn Zeya, and I'm a breathwork coach and somatic healer. I'll tell you a bit more about that after we do this exercise, but essentially what I help people do is to feel safer in their bodies, to help them. I give them the tools to help themselves to heal. I think in the society we live in, we are not taught that we have everything we need to heal.
Absolutely.
And I'm trying to break that stigma by helping people unlearn those patterns of depending on other people for the tools when you have it all in yourself. I'm just like a guide to show you what those tools are.
Right.
Yeah.
So you see, that is very interesting, guys. And I'm sure, I never knew about this breath work. If I did not know Taryn's mom, I was never going to know that there's something like breath work, to be quite honest with you. So yes, we actually want to ask you, if you have your mirror out, I gave you that chance to take it out. And if you don't have a mirror in your handbag, go to the bathroom, go to your bedroom, because I know a lot of you are working from home. So just go and find a mirror. And I want to ask my guest here on the studio with me today is, what is the girl feeling today, looking back at you in that mirror? Taryn, what is the girl saying?
She's saying that she's very proud to be here and to be able to share this work, and hopeful that, the world is changing and I get to be a big part of that change.
Yes. Awesome. Wonderful. Well, this girl says, hey, I'm getting beautiful every day. With age, man, it's like wine, eh? Ja, nee, so waar. When it stands for too long, right? It tastes well. That's what this girl feels. Today she's excited. Today she's actually feeling better health-wise. And yeah, times are of the essence. And we have to use our time, precious, and it's very important for you to know what you're doing on a daily basis. So this girlfriend is saying today, Fearfully and wonderfully made in the image of God. And I'm excited for a new day dawning in my life. I thank God for life. I thank God for life. So, without wasting any time, let us go into this topic before time catches up with us. So, yay, girlfriends. I'm going to ask Taryn a few questions, and I want you to sit and listen. Guys, open your ears and listen. Take in. You know what I'm saying? We will have Taryn's details at the end of the show. You can actually contact her. And and let's go for this thing. You know, it's like coaching almost. This is a therapist, guys. Come on now. You can help yourself. Get up. Yeah? Shake yourself loose from that depression and that anxiety and whatever wants to hold you back. Come on now. It's time to live again. So, yay. Getting into the topic. Taryn, what is breath work and how does it work?
Well, breathwork helps you utilize different breathing techniques to access different states of being. So there's different types. So you have the art of breathwork. So it's first breath awareness, which is basically the first level of it. So you want to become aware of how you are breathing. And essentially, we live in such an adrenalized society where it's like go all the time.
True.
That we breathe very high up in our chest and we deny our body from all the oxygen it actually needs. So it's understanding where are you breathing first, and are you breathing up in your chest, or are you breathing low down in your belly, which is where you should be breathing into. The second is breath regulation. So using different breathing techniques, so you're changing the way you're breathing to access different states of being. So you would either breathe in a very fast pace to gain energy in your body, to create energy, to feel a boost of confidence, to feel creative. Or you'll slow down your breathing if you need to access something you call the parasympathetic nervous system, which is your rest and digest. So you slow it down, and that sends messages to your brain that your body is safe. And then there's another aspect, which is breathing for transformation, which is a type of breathing that doesn't end. So it's a conscious connected breathing where there's no pauses between the inhales and the exhales. And that is a very deep practice where you access your subconscious and you can deal with very deep trauma that you might not even know that you have.
So is this like yoga?
Yoga for your lungs, essentially.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I think so. But it's very visceral. You know, you feel the changes happening in your body when you're doing breath work. You can feel the oxygen travel to different parts of your body. So with breath awareness, you become aware. You're creating a more personal relationship with your body, first of all, because that's the start. And then from there, you're able to really understand what your body needs. Like when you may be in a conversation with someone and you're realizing you're breathing high up in your chest and it's making you feel anxious. You can then co-regulate by breathing into your belly and becoming calm. So I think like I said before, we've grown up in a society where we are not taught these things.
It's true, yeah.
We're not taught to self-serve. And like it's this external thing that's supposed to help you. But I mean, we have this beautiful breath that we can change, that we can craft in a way that supports our body. And that's essentially what I do to help people, to teach them, okay, what types of breathing techniques can you use in different situations?
To think about it, that breathing is actually so important. Breathing is the mere, it's taking in the oxygen. It's you living. Huh?
It is.
It is actually, it's true. Now that I'm thinking about it, you know, the importance of it. And I came to realize when I now did this research on this breathwork thing, I see that there are a new trend of this breathwork that is making its rounds, right? Especially in South Africa.
Yeah.
And I've noticed that it was in China, it was in India, and there were a few other places and now it's in South Africa. and which I am so excited about, because you can actually, by just breathing with the different techniques, right? So guys, come, let's just do this one. Wherever you are, right? Wherever you are, just take a minute and stop just right there, right? Stop what you are doing, wherever you are, and take a deep breath, right? Let's take a deep breath in.
And you want to fill up your belly when you breathe. So maybe put your hands on your belly so you can feel it expanding. Take a deep breath in. And then you can sigh it out of your mouth if you'd like. It helps you relax your body even more, like a loud sigh, like something like this. You can take another deep breath in and sigh it out.
Hell no. I'm sure you're feeling much better, right? Yeah, it makes you relax. Actually, it does.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
It's very simple. It's magic.
It's amazing. It honestly makes you feel more relaxed. I'm so grateful for this, man. Yesterday. And you know, especially as post-COVID, no? There's a lot of us who had COVID. And we're struggling at the moment with the tiredness and the breathing techniques. And that is why I was interested in this, because last week, the week before, I had a severe pain on my lung. And I thought I'm getting a heart attack, guys. And it was like so severe that I didn't know how to use my left side. It was so severe. And it was just because of the muscle, the lung muscle, you know, that I actually overworked without knowing it. But with the breathing exercises and stuff like that, I'm sure you can learn.
Definitely. Your lungs, it's a muscle. It's so flexible. And what's amazing is you can grow your capacity to breathe. Like you can stretch your lungs out. And that's what we do in breathwork. We try and see where you are feeling tension, like with your pain, for example. I would first teach you how to breathe into that space, because we're also so conditioned to kind of fear pain or to run away from pain. Essentially, that's where the wisdom lies. You need to breathe into the pain, like meet it with love. You know, you breathe into that space and you soften that area with your breath, with your attention.
And not with tablets.
Not with tablets. And you'll see that it will become less tense. And then you work with that, like using different exercise, like either stretching out your side of your ribs or massaging your lungs or underneath your ribs where you're feeling pain. And then there's some other breathing techniques that I would use to help you expand your lung capacity, to help you not feel like you are out of breath, you know, because I think a lot of people who are suffering from long-haul COVID or are like in recovery from COVID, their breathing becomes a lot faster because it impacts your lungs in such a way where you feel like your body's under attack, you know, you're not getting enough oxygen. And to kind of co-regulate that, it sounds counterproductive, but to co-regulate that, I teach my clients how to incorporate breath holds in their breathing techniques, because when you hold your breath, so it's a bit complicated, but when you're breathing in and your oxygen enters your body, you need carbon dioxide to release the oxygen from your blood cells.
Right.
So essentially, when you have an increased level of carbon dioxide, there's more carbon dioxide to release the oxygen. So your body becomes more oxygenated. So that's why breath holding, especially during COVID, like conscious breath holding, is important, because then you are hyperoxygenating your body, sending more oxygen to different cells. And we taught that carbon dioxide is this bad gas that we don't need. But we need carbon dioxide. And it's also that unlearning, you know, like actually, let me try and hold my breath. I incorporate breath holds in my practice.
Yeah, because
daily.
with the breath holds, sometimes you don't know, do you count? Because I saw there's something like 2, 4, and then you must breathe out at a certain
So
So
there's
you count
something.
for yourself.
So there's something called box breathing, which is it's like a box. So you inhale for 4 seconds, you pause for 4 seconds, you exhale for 4 seconds, you pause for 4 seconds. And if the 4 seconds is too long, you can decrease it to 3 or to 2, whatever feels good. And what that does is, because your inhales and your exhales are the same length, you are balancing out your rest and digest and your fight flight, which is your parasympathetic nervous system and your sympathetic nervous system. And then that will help your body feel more aligned, more at peace, more focused, more safe. So if you're experiencing a panic attack, it's good to hold your breath. That's why you breathe into a brown paper bag, because you're essentially breathing in your own carbon dioxide to help you then release the oxygen, So you can incorporate that. Like if you feel like you're anxious, the box breathing is a good way to go, because then you're balancing out your nervous system. Or there's also something like, if in doubt, breathe it out. So your inhales should be shorter than your exhales when you are feeling stressed, because when your inhales are short, when your exhales are longer than your inhales, then you're activating your rest and digest, which is your place of healing, your place of relaxation, your place of centeredness. If you want to increase energy in your body, your inhales will be longer than your exhales, because then that's sending adrenalized energy through your body to wake you up,
Wow, quite interesting, eh?
Yeah.
Lord have mercy. Guys, I'm learning so much, and I hope you are also learning from your side. So when can you use breathwork?
Excuse me. Whenever you need it. I use it as a self-regulatory tool. So like before coming to this talk today, I did a couple of connected breaths, which helped me to feel energized, helped me to like access the left side of my brain, and I can talk with flow and ease. Before bed, I use something called a 2 inhale and a double exhale. So what that is you breathe in for 4 seconds and you exhale for 8 seconds. So then that will, like I said before, if you inhaling shorter than your exhales, you're accessing the rest and digest. So then that's good for sleep, because then you're sending messages to your brain that it's time to calm down and it's time to rest, and it's a good practice. So what I would do is, if you're just starting out in breath work, to have a morning practice where you are able to wake yourself up after a long night's sleep, and then in the evening have a wind down practice. And I can show you some techniques that you can use.
I'll be happy, if we can do it on the show, just to help them out there.
Yeah,
it will be excellent.
Cool.
We can use Jay. He's there by the camera, or Leandra.
Yeah, so we can do.
Jessie
like
looks more stressed out, so maybe we can. If I laugh, I even get so.
Oh wow. Yeah, so there's really a lot of ways for you to help relieve your own pain, And I think it's one of the most empowering things to have is self-healing tools.
Now, why did the doctor say I must be still?
Because the doctors, I have a lot to say about doctors. They are there to help, but they are also, this kind of research is still very new to society. And I think it's a very Western approach to kind of put a Band-Aid over something and not tell you how to get to the root cause, Like when you go to the doctor, they hardly ever tell you, eat the good food, eat good nutritious food, exercise, and do breathing exercises. If they did that, so many people would not suffer from depression, would not have anxiety or insomnia or suicidal. They don't teach people how to self-serve, and I think it upsets me, because we can do so much for ourselves. I mean, when I was 18, I had TB, and it was really intense. Like I
Yes.
was in hospital, I lost so much weight. My lung capacity was next to nothing. And there was a time where I couldn't even walk up a few flights of stairs because I was so weak. And not once was I taught how to exercise my lungs. Not once was I given the tools to self-serve. I didn't know. I didn't have that knowledge back then. And if I did, my recovery would have been so much quicker because it's such simple things that you can, even just breath awareness.
It's true because look at this, Darren. If you look at COVID, it's actually breathing because it actually attacks your breathing capacity. Am I right?
Yeah.
It attacks your lungs. And if I look at it, I think if doctors knows this, they could have at least show the people then the technique. Because if I must think back with family members I lost, it was because of breathing. It's that anxiety attacks that you get and you forget how to breathe.
Yeah.
And you go.
Yeah, and it's important in those moments, and it's very difficult, not being able to breathe. But it's important in those moments to meet your body with positive affirmations, like continuously telling yourself, I am safe, I have enough oxygen, my body has all it needs to heal. Because that in itself it's manifestation, you laying your path. You are telling yourself that you can overcome this. But it's a very uncomfortable place to be. But when you know that you can change, like in those moments, you can also change the way you are breathing to help you feel better. That's a very empowering start,
Because it can help so many people.
Yeah.
A lot of people can actually also be alive and not die. Because if you look at it, like with the COVID pandemic, it's more the breathing.
Yeah.
You lose that.
Yeah, and like I mentioned before, we are not taught how to breathe properly.
Sorry, that's me, guys. That's an icebreaker, right?
We're not taught how to breathe properly, and you're not like using your full lung capacity. So with COVID, basically, like a lot of people are chest breathers, right? So essentially, you're using maybe 25% of your lung capacity to begin with. And then COVID hits, and then you're breathing even less. But what you need to do is you need to actually train yourself to breathe into all areas of your lungs. So essentially like breathing into the backs of your lungs, because that's where 75% of our lung capacity sits. And like laying on the bed, basically on your back. So maybe you're recovering
and it hurts though.
No, so you shouldn't lay on your back because you are basically compressing your lungs.
Yes.
So like if you're struggling to breathe and you are recovering from COVID, you should stack a few pillows up and lay down on the pillows on the bed so that your back becomes arched, and breathe into the space of your back, because then you're stretching the muscles of your lungs and you are increasing your lung capacity.
So that's actually laying on your stomach.
Laying on your stomach, and it feels uncomfortable at first because you're not used to it, right? But essentially what you're doing is that you're training your body to breathe into the backs of your lungs. It's stretching your rib cage so that air can access your lungs easier, and it's taking the pressure off your main breathing muscle, which is it's a simple thing, but such a big tool that you can use for yourself.
That's amazing, eh? You will never think, because you'll just think, oh well, I'm sick, let me
lay on my back,
lay on my like you normally do.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And not knowing that laying on your back is actually detrimental to your lungs.
Yeah, and you can obviously like switch it up. You don't have to be on your stomach all the time.
Go on your
but
sides.
not spend hours on your back, you know. You need to be able to give your lungs that relief.
Guys, I'm I'm blown away with this because it's things that you don't know. You simply take it for granted. Well, I'm breathing and I'm alive, but you'll never, I don't know about you, Jay, you never think that there's different techniques. You never think, like, I will never think that there's something that you can only breathe. You will be able to help me to expand the capacity of my left lung,
Yeah.
the muscle of the lung. Hmm? And my doctor say, you must be still, you must be quiet. You don't pick up things, you don't do things.
I also
And that's
think,
very frustrating, eh?
yeah, I also think through this work and also through becoming more aware of one's body, you know what's good for you.
Yeah.
You know when too much is too much, and you know when enough is enough. So I think that's the important part. Nobody knows exactly what you need except for you. You are your biggest guide, your
That's a
biggest
fact,
teacher.
yeah, because you know your body.
You know your body, and you should know your body, but a lot of people don't take the time to get to know their body.
Right, it's true.
They don't
very
know
true.
what anxiety feels like. They just know that they don't feel comfortable in themselves. They don't know like what their triggers are for depression. Like, is it spending time with a certain family member or friends or having conversations?
That's
is
very
it like
true.
trauma that you've not dealt with, you know?
We don't take the time.
No, and it's the most important relationship, you know, the relationship with yourself. Because how do you show up in the world, and what do you give, what you have to give, if it's not from an authentic place or from a place of wholeness and centeredness of like, I know who I am, I know what I'm here to do, I know how I'm here to serve, you know?
Yeah, that's important, eh? Because if you don't know, if you don't have a relationship with the person that you're with every day, yourself, how will you be able to handle others around you
Yeah,
if this person is not whole? You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
How will you be able to help others if the you that's going around is not whole and there's no relationship with yourself? I like what you're saying, that you have to have a relationship with your body, the feelings that you feel. What is the hurts? What is the pain that you feel in your body? Are you depressed? Are you anxious? What is actually happening to you as an individual? So before you go to the doctor, before you go to friends and ask remedies and stuff like that, get the relationship with your body.
Yeah.
Because if you know this, you can actually breathe and help yourself, because that's a wellness thing
Yeah.
that you can actually try and do before running for tabs.
There's so many excuse me. It's so fascinating. Like, I've learned so much about the body in this process, and just the amount of things your body can do naturally to help you relieve tension or stress. It's mind-blowing, you know, and we're not taught it, and it feels like magic when you
do it,
access it and be like, wow, this is my body, like this vessel can do so much for me. But we tend to tap into like the mere 5% of our body's potential, you know, like even mind work, using daily affirmations to help yourself feel strong, to set the tone for the day. You know, can you imagine starting your day, being aware of your breath, doing some energizing breathing techniques to get you started, daily affirmations and journaling, and eating a nutritious meal, you're already setting yourself up for like a positive experience. But with like today's society, we wake up, the first thing we look at is our phone, then our to-do list, then all the bills we need to pay, and then we can't do this and this and this, and then that's like this negative spiral that you started with. That is really hard to break.
I would love to agree, because you know what, when I did coaching, when I was in the program, since then I started with the affirmations. You know, waking up in the morning, that is why I like the mirror, because I used to do it in front of the mirror and speak to myself and say, you know, affirm myself and say, wow, this is the day. I used to start off like, this is the day that the Lord has made, and I will rejoice. You will rejoice and be glad in it. So I used to affirm myself. I said, I'm beautiful. I'm made in the image of God, and today is the day that I'm going to give my everything. You know what I'm saying? And it really helps you to get in touch with you and set your day and set the tune and the mood of the day. That is why I believe in the mirror, because if you're depressed, you don't like the mirror. You know?
Yeah.
You don't have time for it. You don't even want to get up in the morning. So that is one of the reasons. I love the affirmation side of it.
It's really
so tell
powerful.
me a little bit about, so a lot of people I know in the Christian circles, and I really want to speak about this, in the Christian circles, a lot of people is against yoga. I don't know what they think about yoga. Others feel it's demonic, it's devilish. I don't know. It's so absurd. It's foolish.
I understand. I can empathize and understand why. It comes from Eastern traditions, right? It comes from Hinduism or Buddhism.
Yeah.
And what I've learned through this practice, that yoga, breath work, any kind of healing is such a personal thing, and you choose what you connected with, you know?
Right.
Whether you pray to Jesus or God or Allah, you choose what spirit you call into your life through the practice. It's a conscious choice. No one can tell you what you make of that. Even in breath work, like I guide in a certain way. What the other person takes of it is not in my control, and it's a completely different experience from what I'm putting out.
Right,
you know?
right.
I'm showing up as myself. The person that I'm guiding is choosing what to make of that.
Right.
They are creating their own story
because
out of what they are receiving. Exactly. And it's not for me to change that. I'm just there as a soundboard. I'm just there as a guide. But where the journey takes someone in breathwork or in yoga or in other healing modalities, it's completely personal. You know, it's sacred for them.
Right.
And I think that should be respected.
Right. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So tell me, what makes breathwork so powerful?
Whew. I've met parts of myself that I never thought was ever possible. Like, I remember there was a time where I did the transformational breathing, which is the conscious connected breathing. And this is usually like an hour to an hour and a half session of deep breathing, a very deep process.
What do we say just on that? Hour and a half. What do you say to people who feel that, wow, I don't even have time for ourselves? You know what I'm saying? Because that is what people say.
Yeah. If you tell yourself you don't have time, you're not going to have time. I mean, that's also like manifesting the life you want, right? Like also people that's always busy being busy. You create that busyness for yourself, and you need to, like, if you find something important, you need to prioritize it. You need to put it in your diary as something, like as you would show up for a meeting, you know, like write like 5-minute breathwork. It doesn't need to be an hour and a half. It can be 5 minutes a day, which is good. Like, but what feels good for you? Like, what feels authentic for you? Are you
Again,
cutting?
it's the time for the relationship with yourself.
Exactly. Like I can tell you what I think, but I 100% welcome my clients disagreeing with me, because I'm living in my truth. I'm voicing that,
Right.
and what you receive from it, you take what resonates with you. You
Right.
leave what doesn't. You know.
Yes.
But it's not like a cookie cutter. One size fits all. That's not how I work, and that's not how it's not possible in that way. So like even with a conscious connected breathing session, there might be 20 people breathing in the room, receiving the same instruction or the same guidance. Everyone in the room would have a completely different experience, you know?
Yeah.
Some people would not feel anything. Some people would go into a deep traumatic process, and like rebirthing also comes up a lot in breathwork, or have a completely blissful experience. And it's just so individual.
It's true.
Yeah.
It's like gymming. It's like going to the same class but with different experiences. It is like that. So yeah, you were on your way to say.
Yeah, so it was one of the first breathwork sessions that I did. I did a few, and then I started the foundations course with Breathwork Africa. They're actually based in Joburg. With an amazing woman. She's a medical doctor and a breathwork practitioner. So she beautifully marries the science and the art of breathwork, you know, because there is a tendency where it becomes very spiritual, and then it's not like guided by science, you know. But with this course, I was able to really understand what's happening in the body, what's happening in the biomechanics of your body, in your brain while breathing. So I did this foundations course with Breathwork Africa, and Ela, who's my mentor, she was guiding a session, and I went through many like traumatic processes in my life, but in a way that felt really safe. And there was crying and a lot of pain. And after I was able to move through this place of sadness and pain, I was so elated. Like I've experienced bliss in a way that I've never experienced before. Like I felt like I was the only person on this planet, and it was just me and like spirit, and I felt it so deeply. Like I became so whole that day, and I was like, wow, I was able to access that through breathing, you know.
Sure.
And it's really powerful. It's not conscious connected breathing is not necessarily a comfortable process. It will take you exactly where you need to be, whether that is to sit in your pain and to deal with trauma with like your dad, or whether it is to really experience your creativity, or to move through creative blocks, or to find your voice. It teaches you things about yourself.
So even people who stuck, you know, sometimes people can't move forward. They're stuck in a certain position.
Yeah.
So actually through this exercise, getting the real person to move forward.
Yeah, and it's in it feels very safe, you know, like your breath is guiding you. I mean, your breath, it can sound very out there.
Yeah, it does.
But it's like your breath is so intuitive. I mean, it's the only mechanism that connects you with the outside world. Like you essentially breathe in other people's energy. You transfer energy with your breath. And you can't do that with any other thing in your body. You can also regulate your breathing. You can't do that with any other muscle in your body, you know. You can change the way you breathe, and when you change the way you breathe, you can change the way you think and how you feel.
You never think about that you can change the way you breathe, because you get up in the morning. I didn't know there's different breathing, you know.
I know, yeah.
Because I just get up in the morning, the oxygen's there, you breathe.
Yeah.
I don't know whether I breathe from my belly or whether I breathe from on top.
And I think that's the start, right?
You know?
It's to understand, okay, am I shallow breathing? And how does the shallow breathing make me feel? And then understanding, like feeling into your body, and then understanding, okay, let me try and see what it feels like to breathe into my belly. And what many people will find is it's uncomfortable at first to breathe into your belly, because if you don't use your diaphragm, which is kind of attached to your rib cage, so this arch here, it's our diaphragm's our main breathing muscle. So when you breathe in through your lungs, your diaphragm moves down and it shifts your organs out of your stomach. That's what bulges your belly, right? But if you're not breathing into the space of your lungs, your diaphragm is not being used and it becomes very tense. So then you can't naturally breathe into your diaphragm
I wonder,
because it's really tight. So exactly, so it might be your diaphragm that needs
Isn't
loosening.
it that maybe that caused the muscle? Come I tell you why.
Mm-hmm.
I Googled lung exercises.
Yeah.
And I actually did it every day. Like, that's the first time I knew how to breathe with my belly out. I didn't realize this. So I wonder, isn't it?
It's very possible. It's very possible. And like when I first start working with clients who shallow breathe, I first help them create that awareness. Okay, am I breathing in my chest? Okay, let's bring that breath down. So then a lot of clients would say it's uncomfortable to breathe in my belly. I feel like I'm not getting enough
Now
oxygen.
tell me, breathing in your chest, explain to us what is
So I'm going to
that?
put my hands here so you can see. So if I'm breathing in my chest, this is what my breath looks like. Your shoulders move up, and you're using your accessory muscles, which is your neck muscles. So you're breathing like this. Everything is moving, and people tend to breathe a lot louder when they're breathing into their chest. And then when you're breathing into your belly, your breath takes a lot longer to access, so you are slowing down your breathing essentially. So you're putting your hands on your belly and you're taking a deep breath, so you're feeling the expansion, or you can even put it on your rib cage. So you'll feel your ribs go like this and your belly move forward. So it shouldn't look like you are just bulging your stomach out. So like this. It should look like you are expanding like a balloon that's blowing up. So you're imagining that you are breathing in your back, in your stomach, and in the side of your ribs. So you are filling it up like this.
Do you do?
So if you watch me, you see my hands are like all together now. When my lungs are empty, my stomach is flat. When I'm breathing in, it looks like this. And it decreases. So you expand, this 3D expansion, and then when you release, it goes down. And it takes time to get that. And what I help clients do is to loosen the diaphragm by massaging it. It's quite uncomfortable, or stretching the muscle. And then once that happens, it becomes more enjoyable to breathe into your belly. And then you'll start feeling like your mind start to shift, your body start to shift. You'll start feeling calmer because you are engaging in diaphragmatic breathing, which is the natural way to breathe. And like it's amazing because like a lot of anxiety is in people who are shallow breathers, because you're breathing so fast, you're basically sending messages to your brain that you are in danger all the time. So by just switching that to deep belly breaths, you are like activating your rest and digest, and you functioning from a place that is calmer, more relaxed, more centered. So it's really simple things that you can incorporate into your day that will help you so much in the long run.
Oh, this is very interesting, eh? Guys, can we try that again? Let's do that. It feels funny.
It does.
At first, it feels funny.
It does. But what I would recommend is, if your diaphragm feels tight, like if you feel like your breath is getting stuck in this area, which is where your diaphragm is, you'll feel your rib cage, so this arch, or like your last set of ribs, and then you'll use your thumb, and you'll basically trace your thumb along your rib cage. So you're pressing into the muscle beneath your ribs.
Yeah.
And you're breathing in there. And it might feel quite uncomfortable because that would mean that your diaphragm is tense. So with time, you'll start loosening up the area. So you'll breathe in through the whole way. And then you'll feel like, first gauge, okay, what does it feel like without doing the exercise? Breathe into your belly for a few rounds, and then you'll do the diaphragmatic loosening exercise by breathing with your thumb under all the areas under your rib cage, and then you'll breathe into your belly again. And then you should feel that shift. It should become easier, and it's also, it needs consistency. You need to retrain your brain. You need to create new neural pathways to change the breathing technique. So it's not going to happen overnight.
Like every day, try and do
exactly,
it.
like 5 minutes in the morning, 5 minutes in the evening. First, being aware of your breathing. Like, am I breathing into my chest? Am I breathing into my belly? And then maybe using like 5 minutes of breath awareness, and then trying to change that breathing to deep belly breathing. So then moving down, and then once you have that foundation of like, okay, I'm breathing into my belly now, then you can use the breath regulation, because that's the start. That's the building blocks of breath work, is to breathe into your belly, and also to breathe through your nose. And a lot of people don't do that. They breathe through their mouth.
Mm-hmm.
So you're breathing through the only time you should ever really use your mouth is to eat. And when you need an extra boost, like when you're really in danger, we breathe through our mouth to send that like energy to our brain that we need to run, we need to get out. But people tend to mouth breathe on a regular basis. And what happens is our noses are built for breathing. I mean, we have these little hairs in our nostrils. They're called cilia. And they filter out the air when we breathe. So that makes it harder for bacteria and viruses to enter your body. And when you're breathing into your mouth, there's no filter. It goes straight to your lungs. So you're breathing in all the bad stuff, And you also, with your nose, your nostrils, they humidify the air so it becomes moist and warm.
Yeah.
So it becomes safer for your lungs to receive. And it's nourishing for your lungs. But when you're breathing through your mouth, you're breathing in cold, harsh air, because it's like entering your lungs really quickly. So it's had no time to process that it's receiving oxygen. So I would say, to start off with breath work, the foundation is to engage in breath awareness, so understanding where you are breathing. Am I breathing into my chest? Okay, incorporating deep belly breathing, doing that on like daily practice. And then
now the
catching
deep,
yourself.
guys, the deep belly breathing is what Taryn showed us now.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what's your diaphragm?
Yes.
Under the lungs, the
rib
ribs,
cage, yeah.
right? And that is with the belly.
So your belly expands like in this 3D motion. So you're not just popping out your belly like this when you're breathing, but you really like, you're feeling that expansion. So it looks like this. And then the second thing is nasal breathing. So breathing through your nose. And
so you don't do...
So you can breathe out through your mouth, but breathing in through your mouth will be really harsh because you're receiving this cold, unfiltered air, So it slows down your breathing when you breathe through your nose.
Makes a lot of sense, though.
Yeah. That will really help if you're struggling with anxiety.
Makes a lot of sense, especially with anxiety. When you get those attacks, you do through your mouth.
It's so bad. Like you basically hyperventilating then, and you're not helping your body recover from the attack, this feeling of stress. But in that moment, you should actually try and slow down your breathing, and box breathing is really good, or holding your breath for 2 or 3.
The box breathing is the one that you said.
So
you
breathing in for 4 seconds.
Yeah.
Pausing for 4. So you hold your breath for 4.
Right.
Exhale for 4. Pause for 4. So and you continue
if you say
that.
Holding your breath, so you breathe.
So would you like to do it now?
Yeah, let's
okay.
see.
Cool.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll look this way and then guide. You can close your eyes, you can keep them open.
Right.
So you can Do you like to close your eyes?
Yeah, I like it.
So you can
Yeah.
close your eyes if you like and find a comfortable seat. And just drop down into your body and take a deep breath in through your nose. You can sigh it out through your mouth. Take another deep breath in. Sigh it out. One last breath. And sigh it out. Okay, so now we're going to start with the box breathing. I'm going to count you in, but if you find that the seconds are too long for you, you can decrease it to 3 seconds. So just make sure that the box is the same length all around. So you can empty your lungs, breathing out, and then you'll start. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Pause, hold your breath, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4. Pause, 2, 3, 4. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Pause, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4. Pause, 2, 3, 4. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4. And then you can return to your normal breathing. And with that breath, like I said in the beginning, it balances your rest and digest and your fight flight, which is your two nervous systems in your body. So that brings you into a state of calm, focus. Like if you're going to go into a meeting, or if you're feeling scattered or anxious, that's a good one. Or if you're struggling to breathe with COVID, incorporating that like five minutes a day, 3 times a day. It's
Before
really
you preach.
powerful, really, really powerful. And that's just one technique, you know. And you can if once you do the box breathing consistently, you start off with 4 seconds, but you'll slowly start to feel that you are able to inhale for longer, pause for longer, exhale for longer, pause for longer. So you can increase it to 5 seconds or 6 seconds, and the higher you can go with being relaxed in your body, not feeling like you are going to suffocate, the better it is for you, because your carbon dioxide retention in your body is increasing, which means there's more oxygen that's able to flow through your body. Yeah.
Yo. I love it. It's very interesting. I'm enjoying myself here, and I like the breathing exercises. Guys, I don't know about you. Right, if we can say, because you know what? I think there's a lot of people who will ask the question, why should I do this? Why should I do breath work? What's the benefits for me? And I think you did touch on a few of them, quite a few. But maybe if we can just jot it down.
Sure. So, like I mentioned before, breathwork really helps with anxiety. Like if you are on medication for anxiety and you need extra support, or you find that you don't want to be on medication and you want to try and, self-serve, self-heal, then I think breathwork is a really powerful tool to help you.
I just wish my friend is listening out there, please. This is very important. And if you are not listening, I'm going to phone you after this, and I'm going to ask you whether you have to get off those tablets, right? Do the breathing, girlfriend.
Yeah, and it helps with depression. I mean, like, depression is when we're in a state of hopelessness and helplessness, right? And with breath work, you are able to kind of break that cycle, because you understand that you can shift your state of being. Like when people are depressed, they kind of just accept that they'll always be in that state. There's no way of getting out of it.
Yeah.
But with breathing, you can help like break away those limited belief systems and build new pathways to feel healthier and more supported in your body. It also helps with insomnia. Like I mentioned before, when your exhales are longer than your inhales, you are sending messages to your brain that your body can calm down, your body can relax. And it helps with creativity. So like
because you're more energized.
And like, well, you also receive different ways of thinking, you know, when you're able to access this different part of your brain, or you're accessing your subconscious, you are growing your capacity to explore your subconscious. So there's no limit to what you can tap into in terms of creativity or manifestation. It's all very powerful. And just for like daily self-regulation, because when, like with trauma in the body, when you experience trauma, you often are not taught how to release the trauma immediately after it happens.
That's very true.
So when we experience trauma, it's stored in our body, right? Every single traumatic experience you've ever had in your life.
And that's why now when then you go through those.
Exactly. You keep it. Like even at the age of 6 or 7, maybe your mom forgot you to fetch you at school. Even though that's not necessarily a traumatic experience, but for a 6-year-old, it is like, does my mom not love me? Is she abandoning me? And then fast forward like 30 years later, you have abandonment issues because your mom forgot to fetch you at school when you were younger. And when you were 6 or 7, you weren't taught how to release that trauma when it happens, you know. But with breathwork and with some of the other healing tools that I use, you
especially
are able...
now, Taryn, sorry to break your word, especially now with the trauma people face with losing loved ones and with the death all around us, you know, it's traumatic.
It's huge. It's also like there's a huge sense of collective trauma where I don't know if like sometimes you don't know why you're feeling so in this rut.
Yeah.
But it's because you're feeling other people's pain too. It's a collective. I mean, we are energy, right? We are made out of atoms. We are energetic beings, and energy can be transferred. So emotions can be transferred as well. Even if you are not in contact with someone, this idea of collective trauma is a real thing. And if you are not using tools to help your body release yourself from the trauma that's not yours, or the trauma that is yours, you're doing yourself a massive disservice, because then you start experiencing chronic or somatic illnesses in your body that doctors can't explain, like chronic pain or insomnia or all of these things, you know, because your body is carrying all of these things that's not good for it.
Yeah.
And it's going to...
it's not supposed to carry it.
It's going to respond in a certain way. Like if you are just dumping so much negative energy into your body and you're not releasing yourself from it, what do you think is going to happen? I mean, that's how cancer happens.
Yeah.
That's how suicide happens, because people feel trapped in their bodies, or your body starts communicating with you and you're not listening. Like, okay, I have a pain in my shoulder. You ignore the pain, then you maybe it moves to your heart and you get a heart attack.
So say for instance, so people can do exactly the breathing exercise we just did, just to get over that trauma.
To help you feel like if you're feeling very anxious or you're feeling very uneasy in your body with yourself, or like you can't focus, then box breathing is a very good technique.
And people who face trauma?
I usually have a few tools that I use with that. When you are working with deep trauma, I would recommend working with the facilitator, because it's important to feel safe in the process. Otherwise, you can become re-traumatized. So if you are guiding yourself in, say, a transformative breathwork session, and you don't have a facilitator who's there to hold space for you and to help you feel safe in that, then it can be a dangerous place to be,
true.
you know. But so I would,
And you won't enjoy it anyway.
exactly. So with trauma, I would work with conscious connected breathing, which is the 90-minute session I was telling you about. It's an hour to 90 minutes. And then I would incorporate the regulation tools.
Okay.
So box breathing is one of them. 4-7-8 breath is when you inhale for 4, you hold your breath for 4 seconds, and you exhale for 8. So that also the breath hold and the longer exhale.
Yeah, I tried that last night.
It like makes you it makes you super calm, and that's good for insomnia. Yeah. So I would start with the conscious connected breathing and then incorporate breath regulation techniques and also other somatic practices, which means like body movement practices to help further release the trauma from your body. So yeah, it can be very playful. It can be very fun to like get to know yourself.
That's
Move
true.
in ways that you don't really.
It can be very exciting though.
Yeah.
You will want to do it, especially if you see the benefits thereof.
Yeah.
Because I suppose there's a lot of benefits. Your thinking will change. Your creativity will change. That book that you want to write for so long, you will get those creative juices that will just flow. So come on, let's try this thing, guys. My last question to you, because our time is running out. Wow, I love the show. I started breathing from the moment it started. Thank you so much, Candace. Yeah, how does someone get started? Okay, we actually answered that question, right? But there's something that I want to know from you is if you can tell us a little bit about your journey. You know, why did you go into this? Because I know you were in something else and then you came into this.
Yeah, I was in marketing before and then in learning and development.
Yeah.
But it started, I think what happened? I wanted to leave my job at some point, and I didn't know myself well enough back then to really understand what it was I wanted to do. And to leave my job created a lot of anxiety, and I got insomnia because I was so fearful of not having a plan. You know, I'm always someone who has a plan.
Yeah.
And I never had a plan, didn't know what I wanted to do. And I got insomnia for 6 months. And this was before I had a practice of my own. And I couldn't, like, no matter, I was taking sleeping tablets and CBD, and no matter how much stuff I would like take 4 to 5 sleeping tablets a night.
Really?
And not sleep. Because I made up my mind that I wasn't going to sleep, you know? Like when your mind is so powerful, and it was a huge struggle. And at some point I was like, sure, I can't do this anymore. I can't be living on medication. It's not even helping me.
Yeah.
And then I seeked out, I started researching like holistic healing alternatives, and then I got introduced to mindfulness. I did a 8-week mindfulness course, and essentially what mindfulness is where it's based a lot on breath awareness. So using your breath as the focal point and not engaging in your thoughts. So like viewing your thoughts as like
This
clouds
thing is vast,
passing in your mind, and then coming back to your breath as your anchor all the time. And then I started incorporating that in my like sleep regime. So there were times where I would be in bed and I wouldn't be able to sleep, but I would just focus on my breath and not engage into the turmoil that is my mind. Like, how am I going to work tomorrow? I'm tired. I'm never going to sleep again. All of these things like going, you know.
Your mind is working over time.
And choosing not to engage in that, coming back to my breath all the time. And even though there were nights where I wouldn't sleep at all, I would wake up feeling energized because I didn't get stuck in the negative.
Okay.
I didn't get stuck in the negative stuff, you know. And I didn't like embody this negativity, I just kept coming back to my breath. And that was the start of it. And then fast forward a few years later, I went through a big breakup. And I think grief is also a big teacher. Kind of needed to feel through that pain, heartbreak. And my housemate at the time invited me to a conscious connected breathwork session. And I went through this process. It was like the most intense experience I've ever had. But leaving that session, I was like, wow, I'm all I need, you know. I don't need, like, yes, a partner is amazing. It's really beautiful to have that, a conscious relationship. But I don't need that to define me.
Absolutely.
You know, and from that point, I was able to understand who I was. I was able to like go deeper and take the time to really peel back the layers of who Taryn is. And yeah, now I'm here, and I've always wanted to do this work permanently, and made the bold move to do that at the beginning of this year. And I couldn't be happier, you know, because I get to impact people's lives in a very real way, and I also get to teach them tools to help themselves. I think that's one of the most important things for me, is to teach people how to self-serve, because I'm not going to save you, you know. No one's going to save you. You can only save yourself. You can only save yourself. You can do it for yourself, and man, if I was taught these things when I was younger, even like children, you know, teaching them how to grow confidence, or how to feel calm, how to process big emotions, you know, how to process sadness. It's so essential. And I'm so happy that the world is moving in this way, where conversations around breathwork and putting breathwork in schools is becoming more prevalent. But
Really?
I think it's still very new. Like in some schools, I'm not sure where, but they swapped detention with meditation and with breathwork, and they've seen such an improvement in kids, like just in their self-worth, the ability to get along with other people. It's really small things that you'd think you'd have that, but I mean, imagine you had meditation instead of detention when you went to school.
I will keep on going to detention.
So yeah, I think the world is changing. I think
so that's a good journey. So you started off with an instructor, someone who mentored you.
Yes.
And now you have your own practice.
Mm-hmm.
Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so I'm still in the it's still like growing into its own being. I think my business is a personality of its own, but it's beautiful, because I think one positive thing that's come out of COVID is that reach is so accessible now, right? We can do things online. I mean, we're having this live talk, and I'm able to access people that I wouldn't have been able to access before. So that's been really beautiful to kind of navigate the online space. And I'm soon going to be moving, which is also really exciting. And I will be creating my physical breathwork practice in Mexico, which will be really cool. So it's becoming its own being, which I'm really excited about.
Awesome.
And I'm just allowing space for it to evolve in whatever way it needs to, you know, because I think what's important for me is that I'm an ever-changing being.
Right.
And I want to be able to have that in my business as well. Like, if I want to incorporate other practices, if I want to incorporate like more coaching into my work, then I want space for that.
Right.
And I think it's really cool to have this blank canvas of what I want this business to be, which kind of people do I want to impact, what kind of experience would I want my client to have, you know, the music I use. It's such a journey that I want to create, because I think it's like I'm taking my client on a journey with themselves, and I'm also going on that journey with you.
Right.
So it's all about that longevity, you know. It's not this like get fix quick scheme. of I breathe 5 minutes today, I'm healed for the rest of my life. It's an ongoing process, and I think we are such complex humans. We have so many layers to get through.
That's a
you
fact.
know. And with breath work, you are always moving through the layers, and I mean that's what growth is, right?
Yeah.
You never want to stop.
Yeah.
You never want to get to the
That's
place,
only if you
because-
allow yourself to.
yeah,
You know, allow yourself where you at to go further
yeah,
in life, and that's when you are actually willing to peel off the layers. Because a lot of people like the pat on the shoulder. A lot of people don't want to deal with the layers.
It's
you know what I'm saying?
uncomfortable.
It's an uncomfortable feeling,
yeah,
but it's a very healthy feeling. You know, when you are rid of all that pills, you can actually taste that sweetness. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
Of yourself after the pills are gone.
yeah,
So that is exactly what we're trying to bring to you today through Taryn. So yeah, we came to the end of the show, and wow, you can talk and talk and
I'm
talk.
very passionate about it.
Really, I can see that. I really enjoyed you. I
Thank
could
you.
listen to you for long. It's the beginning, and I wish you well, and I
Thank
wish you
you.
God's best as you make your journey to Mexico. May God be before you,
Thank you,
and
thank you.
may your business grow. You can find Taryn, if you can just tell us where people can find you, whoever wants to be, who wants to actually do this with Taryn as the instructor. I would like Taryn to tell us how we can get hold of you, what can we do
Sure.
to just talk to you.
Sure. So you can either follow me on Instagram, which is at Taryn Zeya, so it's TarynZeya, or you can email me on contact@tarynzeya.com. On my Instagram, I have a few free tutorials for different breathing techniques, so you can have a look at that.
So your Instagram is also Taryn Zeya. Okay.
So you can look at that to see if anything there resonates with you. And yeah, I'll be happy to answer any of your questions and hopefully meet some of you at some point in the future.
Thank you so much, Taryn. Your last comment to the viewers out there.
Don't forget to breathe.
Yeah, don't forget to breathe. Yay, we're breathing, guys. We're breathing. So, yay. Thank you so much for watching. And I hope that you've also learned a lot, as I did. I've learned a lot this morning. I'm never too old to learn, right? And I'm sure you've learned too. So let's get the breathing going, guys. And thank you so much for tuning in. I love you. God loves you best. Go in the peace of the Lord. Mwah.
In the shadows, as I look upon my life, in the shadows, there's a passion inside. Heaven knows I'm living my dreams. As I look upon my life, in the shadows, there's a passion inside. Heaven knows I'm living